Kyagulanyi byalabula Museveni ne mutabani we Muhoozi ebigenda okubatuukako mu kiseera kitali kyawala bimaze na bituukirira. Baali balowooza nti byalimu bya muzannyo banga balowooza nti nno Kyagulanyi zisiteeke zaabwe ziri ze baali bamanyi. So nno omuzannyo gwazannya mulala. Kati ekiri e Europe, ekiri mu America byakyuseemu. Abasajja abazungu abo abadde bawagira Gino Museveni bulijjo ng'era abeewaanisa amanyi muno mikwano gye bakwata obwongo n'abawunika. Bakyuse dda. Bafulumizza ng'okukkiriza okuwagira Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine abeere president wa Uganda bannayuganda gwe balonda gwe bakkiririzaamu kubanga balabye nga Gino Museveni byaliko kati bikontana n'amateeka g'ensi yonna agateekebwako endagaano ng'abaswaza buswaza okitegedde abafudde ebitagasa nga eva bwe bawa ebyokulabirako bagamba nga muwagira Museveni mukozi w'ebikolobero kati abasajja bakyuse ku Kyagulanyi bwino n'obujulizi bwagenze ng'ayoleka ensi byakyuse dda kati basazeewo bagamba nti nno Kyagulanyi yagwanidde okuba president wa Uganda Museveni takyagwanidde era president wa Uganda w'ekkumi alina okulayira alina okuddako amangu ddala kumewo e Kampala Kyagulanyi alina okukomawo mangu nnyo alayire nti I Solomon Lesoya sokotandika ebino ebigambo biwulire wano wennyini buuya.
Seventh term in office of Yoweri Museveni. It is just unacceptable and Europe cannot accept this. I must thank all the political groups that we have convened and made a consensus about this. This is, of course, not just about Uganda. It's about supporting the hundreds of millions of Africans who seek freedom, who seek the right for their voices to be heard, who seek their fight for progress and dignity, but are not allowed to do so through violence and oppression. For decades, this European Union has been engaging with our African partners to try to support free and fair elections. I have myself participated in electoral observations on the continent, and I'm very much aware of the challenges. But we need to do more. We have the means to do more, because today it is Bobi Wine in Uganda. Last year it was Tundu Lissu in Tanzania. And next year it might be Alberto Costa Jr. in Angola. Opposition leaders are being persecuted, elections are being stolen, and we cannot allow, as Europeans, continually to close our eyes, and especially our governments who are making economical dealings with the government of Uganda. Commissioner, the Council has to hear high voice and the opinion of this Parliament about these very tragic circumstances that are happening in Uganda. Thank you very much.
Señor López Istúriz, my second speaker is another author, Mr. Hayde.
Thank you, Chair. Dear Commissioner, ahead of the elections, Bobi Wine was cheered by tens of thousands of Ugandan voters wherever he appeared in the country. Now, after the elections, he is under siege, and tens of thousands of citizens took the streets, this time in protest. The post-election situation in Uganda shows a systematic assault on fundamental rights. President Museveni's seventh term followed elections that failed to meet democratic standards, preceded and followed by mass arrests, violence, attacks on journalists, the shutdown of civil society, an internet blackout and killings of unarmed civilians. The harassment of Bobi Wine, his family and members of the National Unity Platform is unacceptable. The European Union must act consistently to end immediately all violence, threats and the arbitrary detention of opposition politicians and their supporters. We must review our cooperation with Uganda and firmly support civil society, journalists, human rights and LGBTIQ+ defenders, as well as the democratic opposition.
Europe ebebirinyemu Gino Museveni abadde alowooza nti alinako abamuwagira alina mikwano gye baba birinyemu kati nno kino kiddiridde okuba nga UN yavuddeyo nedeclaringa nti Uganda esusse okubaamu empisa envundu ekiwamba abantu ekitta abantu ekitulugunya abantu ng'ate abikola aluddeko ku ntebe akola ebikolobero ebitagwanidde ng'atulugunya bannayuganda b'alina okukuuma wabula kati ng'abafudde bisolo n'ebisolo tebikyayisibwa bwe bityo n'egamba nti okusinziira ku Gino Museveni byakola yessaawa ave ku ntebe agikwasa omuntu omulala akyalina embavu kubanga gino Museveni byakola biraga nti akyalowooza bulungi.
The power of human rights is rooted in their universality, the equal value of every human life that is at their core. The same human rights standards must be deployed everywhere, and they must be benchmarks for future progress, not high watermarks from which we can recede. Every human being is born equal. All victims are equally deserving of justice. No one can be left behind, and nobody is above the law.
All of human rights, all of humans must be treated equal. Nobody is above the law. We are appalled
at the crackdown on dissent in Uganda, alongside a gradual erosion of the rule of law, increased military involvement in civilian institutions, and shrinking civic space, all of which are creating a climate of fear throughout the country. Those who dare to speak out are silenced. There is increased self-censorship, further stifling of public debate, and deepening polarization. Since the general elections on the 15th of January this year, we have received information that at least 50 opposition leaders and supporters, 5 human rights defenders, and 5 journalists have been subjected to human rights violations. These include instances of enforced disappearance, torture and ill treatment, and arbitrary arrest or detention based on legal provisions which do not comply with international human rights law. 10 leading civil society organizations have also been suspended since January of this year, while others have been closely scrutinized and at times subject to harassment. We've also received information about increased military involvement in functions that are ordinarily carried out by civilian institutions. Some media outlets have been forced to close temporarily. We call on the government to abide by its obligations under international human rights law, the African Charter, and the Ugandan Constitution to ensure a vibrant civil society where everyone can freely express their views and participate in public affairs.
Olira, buli muntu alina okuba ng'asobola okuwa endowooza nga takubiddwa ku mukono. Ate buli muntu alina okwenyigira mu by'obukulembeze bya Uganda nga tewali agambibwako mwate n'entebe tusongwamu nga gwana atagisongamu. Kati bino ebisaliddwawo mawulire ga ssanyu omulimu Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Bobi gwe yatandikako okukulaba ng'atereza Uganda ng'asinziira e Bulaaya gy'ali agukoze bulungi era asiimye ekituukiddwako sofa agamba weewaawo ni mugutambula bulungi nina okuddayo e Kampala okulayira. Omwana alayidde Kyagulanyi agambye enzirayo boy wano wentusiza gino Museveni enzirayo wulira bibino.
Here's a story from The World.
Last January in Uganda, soldiers broke into the home of the leading political opposition figure, Bobi Wine. That was after the country's aging authoritarian leader, Yoweri Museveni, was declared the winner of a disputed election. Bobi Wine managed to escape with the help of supporters. He joined me from Washington, D.C., and began by describing the moment he realized he had to get out.
My home had been surrounded many times. When they raided me this time, I knew they wanted to hurt me, but I had maybe not done it enough. But a week later, they raided again. Even when they knew that I was not in my house, they beat my wife and family members so bad, they stripped my wife naked and took pictures of her, which were later